Steelers, Ravens, on a Wednesday. It was moved, and then it was moved again, and it was moved again. There's the two head coaches saying, let's get it on. RG3, straight out of Baylor. Heisman Trophy went, oh no, this was ugly early. Listen, in this exchange here, you have the backup quarterback and the third string running back, and they're now on the same page, Peter.
And a backup center, too.
And the backup center, too.
It was an uphill climb for the Ravens.
Yeah, it was. Listen, it was Kirkland brand Ravens. They did the best they could. And you know what? They didn't do too bad except for here. Joe Hayden. Nate, how long do you think Joe Hayden's career will last?
He's going to play till he's about 45.
45
He's the new Darryl Green. Darryl
Green did go long, really long, and I think that Joe Hayden will too. RG3, 4 turnovers for that. It was rough. But he got the mask on, so that's positive. Second quarter, RG3 again. Let's see if we can get something going. Remember, he wore Superman socks to the Heisman ceremony. This is really weird, though. They run the ball at the goal line. Steelers stuff them. Now, the Ravens have no timeouts, so tick, 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 tick. Watch the Steelers just lay all over them intentionally to try to have little games to keep them from getting up. So look at Harbaugh's actually going ballistic because he knows there's no timeout. They want to try to run another play, and if they don't get it, get the field goal. So 5 seconds, 4 seconds. This is a beautiful play action, wide open. Luke Wilson, catch it.
See, I disagree. Everyone's saying that he should spike the ball. Tucker's got the field goal. You go into the half.
1 of 6.
They had time to spike the ball and take a field goal, and then I don't know. This one, I was as frustrated about the play call as I was about, you know?
They went for 6. They didn't get it. So the point is, they got no points. And Harbaugh was really mad. 12-7, Juju later. Touchdown, Gritty. Juju won angry runs earlier in the show. And we're not showing it right now, but it got crazy at the end of the game. There was a Trace McSorley touchdown to Hollywood. There was a really dramatic finish where they had to measure and remeasure. In the end, the Steelers win 19-14. Look at the record next to the word Steelers. It says 11-0. And yet, this is Mike Tomlin after a nationally televised win talking like this.
To be bluntly honest, man, I'm really disappointed in our performance tonight. We did enough to win, but that's all. It was really junior varsity, to be quite honest with you, and it was in all 3 phases. We're fortunate tonight. It's good to proceed with the victory. I acknowledge that, but not a lot happened tonight to be proud of or to be excited about other than that.
Gotta love Mike Tomlin there. The Steelers do stay undefeated. Here's who they've got left on the schedule, guys. Quick turnaround. They've got Washington. What did you say? That they started looking at that film today? Yesterday?
Roethlisberger said we're going to watch it last night.
I love that after the game. Big game against the Bills coming up, too, Kyle. And they've got the Bengals, the Colts. They finish the season off with the Browns. Take a look at the AFC playoff picture. They do, of course, have that 1 seed. But, I mean, those Chiefs are chasing them down. And they look good. 10-1 right there. The Titans, of course, have the 3. Yeah. Love it. You got to get the 1 seed to get the bye week, the only team that will. Okay, should the rest of the AFC fear the Steelers after seeing that picture and seeing that game yesterday?
Yeah, so in the beginning of the show, I talked about how there were 6 drops by receivers. There was the botched punt by Ray McLeod. The Steelers did not look great yesterday, and they still win. And I think Tomlin and Roethlisberger echo what a lot of Steelers fans thinking. That was ugly, and yet a lot of Steelers fans are waking up this morning thinking, okay, but we're still undefeated. The win counts. I also think the Bud Dupree injury, which wasn't mentioned in the highlight, is massive.
Yep.
Bud Dupree was having a career year, and this is in garbage time. It was 19-7. That's a Marv Albert shout out. Garbage time.
Yes.
No, to see, but torn ACL. Aditi Kinkhabwala reported it yesterday. Mike Garafolo confirmed it. That's the word, out for the year. Now, that's huge.
Hate that.
Because what the Steelers do on defense starts with the pass rush. And Cam Hayward was all over the field yesterday. Cam Hayward was amazing. But you got TJ Watt on one side, and then, of course, you have Bud Dupree on the other. They lead the NFL in combined sacks for 2 players going into this game. That one didn't happen in the second quarter. It happened late in the fourth quarter when this game was pretty much wrapped up. That one is tough because the team that I think people really are starting to fear right now is the one you mentioned to start, Kay. And if you don't have a pass rush, I don't know how you stop these guys. Bring up the Chiefs footage. I feel like it's just cliche at this point. Pick any game and pick any play. Chiefs are rolling on offense. This was Tyreek Hill in the first quarter last week, and no one was getting to Mahomes. That's the problem. So
Bucs got a pretty scary D-line too, Peter.
The Bucs were really good against the pass, and guess what? The Chiefs came in and lit them up. And you know, the bottom line is Bud Dupree injury. Why am I making such a big deal of it? Because it's not just Bud Dupree. You lost Devin Bush earlier in the year. The more you kind of take on, and it's like guys like Hightower and Spillane are now playing in big roles. on your defense. You hope they can step up, but that wasn't the expectation. To me, I hate to be somber about it, and I'm not going to just do raving about the Chiefs here. The Bud Dupree injury is huge for the Steelers. He is a free agent to be.
Yeah.
He is one of the best pass rushers in football.
Having an unbelievable year, Schrager.
And now he's gone, and I don't know how this team responds to that. Adversity. We talk about it all the time.
Right.
This might be the hidden loss in what was a win yesterday.
That's now a couple of key guys on that defense that are gone. Do we fear this team? Should teams in the AFC, should teams in the NFL fear the Steelers? No, they should not fear. Should they respect them? Of course.
Okay.
Respect them because their record demands that. But fear is a completely different beast. You know, when I was younger, I was scared of the boogeyman. I was scared of the creature under my bed.
Sure.
I was scared of Freddy Krueger and Jason. And then as I got older, I realized, why am I scared of something that doesn't exist? So if you're an offense in the NFL and you were thinking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this whole season, that's all you've been hearing about, the closest thing to the steel curtain, and they were beating up on some teams. And they had some outings out there where they were making quarterbacks look like high school QBs.
Okay.
And then after a couple of losses, Bud Dupree being the most recent, and then watching last night, you're supposed to fear that defense? If you're a team you're supposed to fear the defense that you got teams like this running through. You're supposed to fear the defense that the Titans and the Eagles put points up on. That guys like Deshaun Watson put points up on. You're supposed to fear that defense. You're supposed to fear the defense that RG3 and Trace McSorley almost beat last night. You're supposed to fear. No.
Weird game, weird circumstances.
Weird game, weird circumstances. But you know what's real?
Yeah.
What they put out there on that field. So for me, I'm looking at that defense and I'm saying, all right, as good as much of a pass I can give the offense for the drops, the weather, not being on the same page, game getting pushed back, that defense is something that is a strong weakness. I'm not saying they're a weak point, but they have weaknesses within their defense, especially with the loss of Bud Dupree.
For an 11-0 team, they don't have that shock and awe factor, right? Like, oh my gosh, the Steelers are head and shoulders above. They don't. And yet, I still think the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. I really do.
You picked it before the season.
I did, and that's great. And even now, though,
Kyle,
I'm looking.
That was with
I don't mean to cut you off, but don't you think that things are starting to stack up against this team at the wrong time?
The injury's not great. The Bud Dupree thing is really big. Here's the thing. They have 13 players on their team who have sacks. Their pass rush is not a factor of TJ and Bud, and that's a wrap. It is deep. It comes from different angles. They're going to have to get more creative. The offense is going to have to be better. But they're 11-0. Over the last 30-plus years, look at the teams that have gone 11-0 and better. There's something really... Start in the upper left with me. Bears, they got to 12-0. Super Bowl win. Washington, yes, Super Bowl win. Broncos, Super Bowl win. Patriots 2007, of course, went to 19-0 and lost. The Colts in 2009, they lost only because the Saints also played them and they won. The Packers 13-0, no Super Bowl win. The Panthers got to the Super Bowl in Denver. Those teams get to the Super Bowl. That's not a coincidence. That goes back to the mid-'80s, different eras, different personnels. All those teams had injuries. All those teams lost key players. When you get to 11-0, the anomaly factor is out. It's not 8-0, not 9-0. It's 11-0, and if you want to talk about the diversity they've been through, are you looking at their schedule? Are you looking at them losing their bye week and they're playing a game, I think, 20 minutes from now? I don't care if Bud Dupree's injured. I hope he heals up, but there's bigger things to deal with than our second-best pass rushers out for the season. I still think they're going to the Super Bowl. I still think they have something for the Chiefs.
The questions will remain, though, and the argument that's going to be used against you, Kyle, is, of course, that what's their best win? The Titans is maybe it'll be the Browns. They could go 16-0 and the questions will still remain because that is their best. They went an entire regular season without facing the Chiefs, the Saints, the Packers, or the Seahawks. Now, of course, the argument to me then is you can't, we don't make the schedule, but that's what you're going to hear even if this streak continues.
Yeah, it's true. Like, they don't have those crazy style points.
Their best win is the Titans.
It's true, and they can play who they can play. And they played the Titans after it was moved, and it was reshuffled, and it was an extra degree of difficulty.
And I'd argue when they went into Baltimore with Lamar, and it was before Baltimore started hitting the skids a little bit, like, that was a gutsy win. And that's the thing, Kyle's right, style points. When the Patriots were undefeated, it was like they're beating the Bills 55-7.
Piling on touchdowns.
Beating the Titans in the snow.
It's like college.
It was like, this doesn't feel that way. And I don't know how that plays out next couple weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are they?
At what point do you get, though, to be like, all right, so there's 14-0, there's 16-0, and you're still like,
to Kate's point, I don't know if I will.
Yes, I'm saying the questions are going to remain.
I'll say this,
when do they stop?
Even if